Our moderator for this session, Mr. Ashoka Kumar VA, Director, RB Automotive Electronics Design Center. He have around 25 plus years of experience in vehicle electronics development and setting up laboratory infrastructure. He is also associated with many associations, government agencies, and professional bodies including ARAI, SAE, TIFAC, DSIR, and SIAM. He is the chairman for technical bids evaluation of the Infotronics Lab of NACRIP, Government of India, that designs and does the development of electronic systems for passengers, commercial vehicles, and mining equipment. He has established the Center of Excellence in Automotive Electronics, funded by TIFAC, Government of India, at VIT University, Tamil Nadu, and also has the patent as an inventor of the Unified Electronic Controller for dump trucks application. We welcome you to the session, sir. And the panelists for this session are Neil Matthews, Chief Engineer, frogsandcashews.com, Dr. Nandakumar MB, Associate Professor, Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering, Bangalore, Arjun Radhakrishnan, Senior Engineer, Automotive Lear Corporation, and Sahir Korat Matthew, Student, Strat School of Design. Mr. Ashok, sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Nikita. Thank you. Very good morning to all attendees. It's nice to be with you and to share our knowledge, our experience, and our case studies, whatever we have learned over the period, to across with you. And also look forward to get your ideas and what is your pain points and how do we go forward. Okay. Now, can I continue, Nikita? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Because that video was still there, so I just thought, okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's look at what are the trigger points and what are the initiatives. Why do we embark on the new product design? What can be the incentives to it? So from my experience, it comes from different angles, different directions. So the first and foremost for any new design to take place is the initiation coming from the corporate team or marketing team to design and develop a new market segment. So for example, when I say new market segment is something which is not existing and you have to create. Let's say when this vehicle, Tata has developed the ACE vehicle, that was the first time they developed that product. It was received very well for the last mile connectivity, and it was a fantastic product, and they have done extremely good business. So this is a kind of market where this product doesn't exist. You want to put a new product. That's one thing. And second trigger can come from regulations, correct? So there are, what are the regulations? Regulations means, let's say, now today we have a Bharat Stage Regulation, BS6. To introduce that BS6 regulations, Bharat Stage regulations, so you need to do a lot of product design. All these vehicles which are there in the Bharat Stage 4 has to be made Bharat Stage 6. So it requires tremendous amount of new product, new design technologies to be introduced in even the current vehicles. So that's another trigger for the new design. And also the next point will be the global trigger. What is global trigger today? Entire globe, entire market, and the entire society is rising in one voice for the clean and green technologies. So the air we breathe, it has to be clean air. So how can we live properly with the quality air, with the quality life? So these vehicles, conventional vehicles, gasoline, diesel vehicles in the air. So everyone is looking for alternate technologies to reduce this pollutant so that we can live comfortably. We can lead a quality life. That's another. So that is nothing but electric vehicle technology, current technology. Entire world is going, and a lot of players are chipping, all the OEM stakeholders. In fact, Bangalore is the largest startup for the electric vehicles. There are other cities also in the Delhi, Chennai, and all, Pune. A lot of cities are there. A lot of activities are going on in the manufacturing, new design, new technologies. How do we? How can we improve upon it? Because this is a technology is not matured and it's a beginning, new ideas can come, new can be generated, new innovations can take place. So we can bring a new product which can be highly competitive. So there's a lot of gap and a lot of requirement in the skilled engineers and knowledge engineers, and also the infrastructure requirement, testing, validation, verification, all this. This is another area. So the next point comes from the existing products. Customer will ask, I want to introduce new features. So like I want to know when the gear has to be shifted, or I want to have an adaptive front lighting. Whenever I turn the car, the light should turn so that I have a comfort viewing. So there can be comfort, convenience, safety, security, infotainment, the powertrain. So a lot of technologies, a lot of features there can be a demand by various customers and also by government regulation. So that's also another trigger point to take up a new design. So another thing is variants. So we have already existing products. So some variants has to be introduced to enlarge the market and also to bring product differentiation to beat the competitors so that you will be able to do. So in the nutshell, these are the multiple trigger points or initiation comes from the different sides. It can be government, it can be society, it can be competitor, it can be the customers. A large players will come. So you need to exactly find out how to design this product. So the design and development of automobiles is a very, very highly stringent, and it requires multidisciplinary teams. And normally they perform a cross-functional teams because you require technologies from different streams. So this cross-functional team is responsible from the idea or from the definition of the product definition till it is designed, developed, tested, and certified. So this team will own the responsibility. So normally the designs will be led by the PLM team, product life cycle management team. There is a project coordinator, project manager. So we'll start the project. We'll have the concept design. What are the functions? What are the features? And different teams will be formed. Check for what are the tools required and who are the team members, how to run this. You need to have a project management in the place. So then you can start working on that. So the design will be a complex design because you need to beat competition, and also you have to meet regulatory requirements, and you have to beat the cost. So design to cost, design to mass manufacturing, design to testability, and design to verification. And the design final point is the price performance point. What we define the design, how good the design is evaluated. If I want to evaluate a design, whether it's good or bad, it's with one single point that is called the price performance point. So whatever, if I buy the vehicle at this rate, am I getting the performance? It can be mileage, it can be connectivity, it can be comfort features, it can be security feature, it can be smart infotainment, it can be more of comfortable, convenient, it can be multiple features. By paying that money, do I get the value of that? So that's a nutshell, that's the final point where the design is defined. So let me request panelists to add to that. Maybe they can tell about the futuristic technologies, the skill development, and the lack of facilities here. And being this, we are in the COVID-19 thing, and we are not connected. We are not. We cannot go and have face-to-face. We cannot visit labs. We cannot visit industries. There's a lot of social issues, and health has been created because of this virus problem. So how can we overcome that? Do we have new methods? Do we have virtual prototyping? Can I do from my laptop most of the learning? So that's another challenge. Probably I request panelists to deal with this and come out with that. So can be academia, can be industry, and what are the skills when the youngsters comes? What exactly lacking? What is it? If youngsters come for interview, if I ask such a question, is he learned? Is he capable of answering? Has he learned enough to deal? Has he know what is happening in the industry? So those things probably you can pick up from this session. So Now I request probably Mr. Arjun, you're there on video. You can just share your views.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ashok sir. So I will start with the global trend which is being happening right now to put the things in perspective. So right now, even before the COVID-19 came to place, the automotive industry was in a bit of downturn, mainly because of two reasons. The first one is the very low sales, which was happening all over the globe. Because in India also it was highlighted in the TV media and so on. The second reason being the electric car revolution, uh, which is at the doorstep. And so the first, coming to the first point, which is the low sales. Why the automotives and the cars are facing some kind of low sales in this global market, and people, some companies like or organizations like IMF and Washington Journal says that the ride sharing and the carpooling culture, which is being developed in the society, is decreasing the necessity of having a personal car. So they are saying that this could be one reason. The second reason being that most of the families has reached some kind of car saturation point. So at which they don't need any more car and they are happy with what they have. And this is that this value of a new car could depreciate up to 60% in 5 years. So people are a little bit skeptical about investing into a new car and they're happy with what they have. So the market is a little bit saturated so far now. But and one more reason, there's one more interesting reason that experts say is that there is this wait and see attitude which is developing in the youth. They say that they're ready to wait for some new technology for a couple more years so that they have access for that. For example, the new technologies which Tesla is coming up with. So everyone is wondering like whether I have to invest in a car now or I have to hold it back for 2 more years so that I'll not invest. So there is a global reduction in sales right now. And this is one reason why the automotive industry was a little bit in the downturn before COVID came. And the second reason is there was a massive electrification investment going on in the backdrop by all the OEMs, including Mercedes-Benz or Daimler or BMW or Audi or Bosch. So thing is that there's a transition phase which is going through right now. Like nobody want to invest more on the combustion engines or powertrain technologies or something like that. Everyone is focusing on induction motors and mechatronics and lightweight interiors and technologies like that, so that they can cope up with the future. And every OEM I mean car makers, such as Mercedes-Benz, is coming up with a seven car line, which is called the electric vehicle architecture. So it comes with the 7 cars which are completely electrical and is planned to be launched by 2022. Even BMW is coming up with the same technology. Like they are also launching 7 cars, which is completely electrical. And Audi is coming with the e-tron, and Volkswagen is coming with the e-Polo and so on. So there's a lot of things which is happening in the background. And there are a lot of jobs which are being lost in the traditional technologies. For instance, the technologies like combustion engines and the powertrain and or the gear train technologies like that, because Audi was taking away 9,500 people from the combustion engine department, and BMW was firing around 6,000 people from the gear train technology. So there is a major shift which is happening even before the pandemic. That's my point. So I think what students should emphasize to be ready, to make themselves ready for the future technology, is that they should focus on mainly 3 things. The first one is building the interiors, because it is going to be there forever. And the more you develop your skill in the interiors, the technologies like the carbon fiber, the material technologies and things like that. And so they can be very compatible for the future, and they can use this skill to build a very good career in automotive technology. The second thing, which is a piece of cake right now, is the battery technology. So the kind of inventions which are going in the backdrop on the battery technology is unbelievable right now. There are some out-of-the-box battery concepts which are being developed by Volvo and even Volkswagen. So, and the third one is the mechatronics. So if we are going to focus, if the students, if they are going to upskill themselves in these three segments, the interiors, batteries, or the mechatronics part of it, I think it will do very good for their career, and they can put a platform to build their career in the automotive sector. So this is my
yeah. Thank you, Arjun. I think we have a very short time to present our views. This is a constraint. And in this small, short duration, you have given a lot of good points. I'll sum up later. Can I go to Dr. Nandakumar to give your views on the academia? How do you make sure that the engineers coming out of the institute, they are well versed, they are knowledgeable, they have hands-on, and they can connect to the industries, and they are ready for the, how do you make this engineers coming from academia industry-ready engineers? How do we bridge the gap, what industry needs and what is lacking in academia? Yeah, please. Over to Nanda Kumar. I think Nanda Kumar, there's a mute.
Okay. As an recognition
Yeah.
for the past 2 years. So what I would like to express is the students would have studied various subjects related to design, beginning right from the beginning of their engineering career. I mean, engineering, right from the engineering graphics to AutoCAD, and then analysis through ANSYS, and subjects like modeling, and then subjects related to the very basics of design like mechanics of materials, kinematics, dynamics, and few subjects where you need to hold a data handbook and solve few problems. Of course, having done all this, suppose if a student is given a very simple problem like design a push cart for a shopping cart. Do you think a student would actually search in the books? Definitely, you would start thinking, from where should I start? This is what is lacking in the students, that they don't know where to start. So we actually teach them in very abstract sense, like you can use these equations for this, but when they're given a real problem, they don't know how to approach it. So we have been trying to do this by trying to have few marks for what is called as AAT, alternative assessment test, and we try to give them some assignments where they start actually thinking, how do we actually start designing something? Maybe it is a mechanical design like a simple shopping cart. How do we design it? And what are the constraints? What are the materials? Now, what can be the cost? So when we actually try to do this, so the students, when they actually they will try to see the things around in a very different way. So I wish all the colleges should come up with something like this, where the students are made to actually design very simple things. So generally, my students are of the perception that they would be given a chance to design the whole car. They would be actually given a chance to design the whole engine, but it's not true in the industry. So I think we should actually address this issue with the students, that they should be able to take up some small assignments in design and do it in some small timelines with some guidelines, and also with some person who actually has got some good experience in the industry. So okay, I would like to add to what our co-panelist said, Neil sir, so that people should actually get their hands dirty and actually know what is there in the machine, and that will actually make them understand the things better. Because when you work on a machine, you will understand what is actually designed for maintenance. What is actually, suppose if you go to a industry in Kenya, then you will understand what is actually designed for manufacturing. So people lack this, and they study this subjects that's in bits and pieces. When they will actually try to learn some software as a tool, and they don't know how to use it. So I wish we should actually go ahead in trying to make this easier for the students to get merged with the industry at the earliest. So only then we can have the products coming into the market in the least time. Otherwise, it would be a very difficult time in the industry for the managers to convey things to their subordinates. So I would like to ask the views of the other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nandakumar. I think you come out with bullet points, very good bullet points. So we'll just sum it up later. Anyway, good work done. So can I just request Mr. Neil to share his views? Mr. Neil?
Yeah, I am audible, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I have to the youngsters, I have like 2-3 points because we have very limited time to talk about. One is, as Arjun told, there are some areas which are getting like probably in the primary view, it looks like they are getting less important, like engine control. But actually, I have a little different opinion here is that it's only the way it is applied into the automotive industry is changing. It is not absolutely fading away. So what I request to the youngsters is that quickly identify some areas which are like ringing along with your natural talent. All the areas are in demand. There is no dearth of demand for all those areas. But while you develop that knowledge in one particular area, please also, that means you have to, you think about yourself like a fisherman in the sea. Fishermen very well know about where he is in the sea and that depth of water there, where it is likely to have fish. So like that, you should know your subject very well, deeper and as much as possible in that area. But also it is important to have a wide knowledge of auto industry. Then again on the auto, like if you are working on a scooter, about the scooter, if you are working on a car, about the car or a bus, depending on that, you should know about that vehicle overall, the importance of multidisciplinary work, teamwork, and how to collaborate, what is the other guy's role, all those things. Now, to know all these things, I would request the youngsters to develop hands-on knowledge, because that is the only one thing what will bring in the memory when right it is needed. Like if you are just reading books and trying to imagine, it is not going to work. The auto industry is very challenging. It will have a specific goal of coming out with a new model within a particular timeline, which demands very intense and integrated work. So during that time, coordinating with other team members and doing it matching to others and doing it is very important. At that time, it is difficult to go back and, yeah, of course, we'll do references, but it is difficult to go back and refer textbooks, check sheets, and find out where we need to do what we need to do. But if you have hands-on experience, you will recognize this is the area which need to be touched, and this is my role. Now, there are so many technologies, especially getting developed in today's thing, like image recognition, artificial intelligence, automatic driving, battery management, different type of energy management. People are demanding very different look. So all the areas are getting impacted. And there may be like now, before the pandemic, there was a situation people didn't want to buy own vehicle. They wanted to use more and more public transport or shared transportation. But now the pandemic has suddenly changed the need to a smaller individual commuting vehicle. People feel safe in that. So situations will come, like clients will change, customers' attitude will change, product requirement will change. But we need to be, as designers and the people in the field, we need to be ready with appropriately adjusting and accommodating and joining the team according to the need. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, very good. Sunil, I think you have summed up and brought a lot of new technologies, new features added to whatever we spoke. May I request Sahil to share his views?
I'm a design student. I'm a transportation design student. I'm slightly away from the entire engineering part of it. In our college, we are taught mostly about CAD and all that. What is required for transportation design exactly? That is, if we choose transportation design as our main field. Right now, I'm in the second year, so I'm still in the foundation year. I'm still testing out random things. So yeah, like I agree what Neil sir says, that you need to know various sectors of design in order to really do well in transportation design. Because other designs, like even interaction design, can help you come up with good interiors and stuff like that. Right. And I also believe that the transportation world is going into a transition. Right. Many companies are drawing back. For example, Ford is really drawing back from countries where they don't get enough sales, and they are planning to uh, direct most of their research into electric vehicles and developing their own technologies, right? And many car companies are doing it, many, like, yeah. And yeah, so I feel that a transition is coming, and I don't think the current audience for car, like for example, my dad would not invest in an EV right now because the entire uh, factor about charging the vehicle and the fact that we can't travel long distances with the vehicle is not really settled yet. Right? So I think people need a confirmation that the electric vehicle is going to last for a long time. Like the technology is well developed in order to be competitive with the IC engine cars. Right? And plus, I feel that many designers get into design with the understanding that they're going to design really good looking cars, like a really fast looking Ferrari. But I'm sorry to say, that's not the truth anymore. Your designs are going to be more about purpose, right? More about how um, you travel from point A to point B. Earlier, yeah, like during the 2000s or even the 1960s, 1990s, yes, it's all about really good looking cars and all that. But now, since global warming and all these really critical issues, I feel that car companies should be focusing on mainly about transportation of people from point A to point B, comfortable transportation, efficient transportation, and stuff like that. So I think students should be told before entering design colleges that they need to focus on not really doing what they like, which is designing really fast cars, but design for a purpose. Right now, cars, I believe, are becoming more of a product than what it was before, right? More of a purpose-built machine than what it was before. Yeah. So I think like what Arjun sir said, that the world is going on a transition and all of us should be ready for it. So yeah, that's my views.
Okay. Thank you, Sahib. Good points from the student community. But you have touched upon multiple points. So let me just summarize. Do we have another 10 minutes to summarize, Nikita? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Just to summarize, I think there were good points, but we have less time to express very clarity. Clarity. So it's a short time. So just throw some points which are important, relevant points, but each is a very, very important point. It takes long time to digest and bring clarity and discuss, analyze, understand, and how to take it forward. So way forward has to be defined. So probably this session will give a sketch for that. So I'll start from Mr. Arjun. I think a very interesting point. He said he explained how this what was a downturn even before COVID-19 because of the transition taking place from the conventional vehicles to electric vehicles. So there's no clarity either with OEM or the government or the multiple stakeholders. If we say stakeholders in the mobility equipment, mobility segment, so there is no clarity that whether conventional vehicle will survive, what ratio will be there, or electric vehicle will come, or fuel cell based vehicle will come, hydrogen vehicle will come, or CNG will overtake. So there are a lot of discussion going on, a lot of mix, and this thing is happening. but definitely there is a thrust to introduce EV in every segment. So as per the survey report I read, so there will be a balanced thing, because the bigger trucks, bigger vehicles will have to go with the diesel, which has got high muscle power. Probably the two-wheelers and three-wheelers will shift to electric vehicle. So the survey says that till 2040, all the segments will be growing. So one should not, as Mr. Neil was telling, one should not feel that the conventional engine technology has gone. No, that's wrong. So there are a lot of research is going on, a lot of innovation is going on. That's also becoming more and more advanced. How to make sure that the pollutants can be limited, can be reduced, can be converted into a useful substances. So a lot of research going on. So they'll also come out with new products, and the fuel also is going to be modified. So there can be innovation in that segment also. So we need to, a student should not think once we go to electric, this will be closed. No, that's not the case. There will be a shift, there will be a transition, and nothing is sure at this point of time, but all the technologies will definitely, it has to be there another 10 years. There's nothing short of it. So there can be a redefined later. Okay. So the next point was, as we said, transition, and then also very important to reskill. So because there is a transition, and also I heard in one French company, they were doing a piston manufacturing company. So recently they have shifted from piston to the battery caps, battery part manufacturing. So there are companies which are trying to reskill their own employees, facilities, to make sure that they are geared up, they are not left out. When suddenly, when there is a catch up, something sudden explosion takes place, and there is a huge shift. So they should not feel that they are not able to take up. So there is a efforts in industry also how to reskill employees, how to establish the facilities so that employees become knowledgeable, and they will be able to handle multiple different kind of work. So that's another reskilling. And also we touched upon material technology. That's very important. So the lightweight materials, it will improve the fuel efficiency and also aerodynamics, many things. Battery technology, mechatronics is very important, because the futuristic technology, autonomous vehicle technology, once it comes, the smart mechatronics is going to stay. Without that, you cannot convert the conventional vehicle to autonomous vehicle. So there is a requirement of chassis controls, powertrain controls, integrated controls. So a lot of this thing will be there. So all those technologies has to be learned. So maybe I'll just complete before we take. So skill gap. So skill gap, I'm going to address that. Skill gap is that, see, today, what is this autonomous vehicle? There are more than thousands of engineers are required in this place. So that requires a digital image processing, identifying the objects in the front, and also limit. So the image processing technology, signal processing technology, then identifying this thing, then smart mechatronics. So there is a combination of electronics, mechanical, electronic, electrical, computation, all are going to be there. So how do we put it? How the AI is going to play there? Because you have to identify thousands of objects, and then a decision should be made in the autonomous vehicle. So a lot of skill knowledge is required in the AI segment, in the data fusion technologies, sensing technologies. Today, if you look at academia, not many institute teach LIDAR, radar technology, image processing. So maybe it's touched upon, but these are the technologies will be, each LIDAR, I mean one LIDAR in Valodyne makes, it will cost 3 to 4 lakhs of rupees. You can buy a car. Why that so expensive, that LIDAR? What is so much costly? So that's a very important issue. How this new age sensing technology is called, how this revolutionize, how this will, so there's a gap in introducing these new technologies. This has to be bridged. So that's very important from the, I just want to convey to from academia point also. So Dr. Nandakumar has touched upon this, how to enhance practicals, and also the how to bring hands-on sessions, and also how to do stepwise learning. Not necessary to handle everything before. You should not embark on designing a new truck. but can he design something small feature, small function of that system? Then he can gradually increase his level, and he can progressively he can become the engineer. So the aspiration should not be should be in that stepwise. So that's what his point. It's the right point. And also one idea is that look at new technologies and how to introduce the simulation technology. Today we are in the COVID-19 pandemic, and we need to sit in my home. I should learn. I should I should learn utilize the best of the infrastructure what is available with me. So today we have a lot of tools. What is that simulation tools, modeling tools, and one can design, develop through virtual prototyping. So a lot of things can learn how to do the requirements capturing, how to understand that, how to do the basic design and validation. So a lot of multiple tools are there, like from MathWorks, and also there is in the vector tool is there in the networking scheme. So there's a lot of tools are available even in the engine design, modeling design, how to build an engine through a software. So that it's an entire engine I can build in software and you test with that software. So that is also a very interesting point. I don't need engine to test it. If I have a control system, I have a software which represents the thermal design of engine, I can do it. So these are the things exist already. How do we bring it? How do we enable these? These are all expensive tools, but is there a methodology? Is that something that students can learn at their place to how to design, how to do modeling, how to test it, how to simulate, how to verify what he has done right, how to do a control algorithm, how to do a design. So this will enable the leadership. So this will enable them to learn more and more and provide knowledge. So Mr. Neil, I think he said that I touched upon your point, conventional will stay. That's a good point. There is nothing, people should not leave it as it is, something like that. Okay, question 2. We have some of worst roads. I think we have question answers. Just maybe I'll just look at it, just few minutes. Teamwork, collaborative approach, hands-on, and these are the important tests, and how we are going to have a BMS, artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles. He explained a lot of new technologies has to be learned by the youngsters in order to lead from the front. And to be ready for free faces every time changing situation. See today, I don't know, many of you may be knowing, this Bajaj has launched a 4-wheeler. It's almost like auto. It's called a Qute. So probably, so this after a few years, these auto rickshaws will be replaced by this Qute. So now all OEMs are working on that, how to do. So one should learn and see that what is upcoming and to be ready with the solutions to face any situation. That means you should be highly dynamic, flexible, and you should have the knowledge, theoretical knowledge, practical knowledge, analytical knowledge, so that you are ready to face any of the challenges. That's a good point. And Sahir has again stressed on transition phase. So EV is going to stay, EV will grow. Initially, EV was there in maybe 100 years back, electric vehicle started, and then it could not grow for some reason. So now again it is restarted, but the players are different. Politics is different, government is different, society is different. Now there is a huge demand for EV. Definitely EV will grow, but the segments you have to look at, market you have to look at, there will be a balance. All the players will continue to work and continue to stay. As per my survey report, till 2040, this will continue. So that's my point. So, and also this comfort and efficient transport system. So like multimodal transport. So very important. So if I'm going from here to Delhi, so how do I connect different transport? Which one is cheaper? Should I go by flight? Should I go by train? Or should I go by something? How to connect with the space, transport, railway transport, surface transport. So from my house till the point, I should get everything ready in place so that I can go, which is the optimization on the time, optimization on the cost, or optimization on this status optimization. So something. So you need to have a multimodal transportation. So there are a lot of, already some experiments are being done from even by government. So these also new technologies. I think Sahir is a good point. How to make sure that the personal transport will be more efficient for the particular need of that user. I may look from the time point, I may look from the cost point, I may look from the comfort point, I may look from different angles. So I should have a different transportation ready, available. I can leave at this point, reach at this point. So I can have a multiple options. So I can pick whichever suits me. So this is a multimodal transport. So very good point. So there are a lot of, it's a new technology, and it's a huge amount of networking has to be done. A lot of data management has to be done. So that's also an interesting upcoming challenging technologies. So one should learn. So focus on design for purpose. That's great. That's what I was telling. So new product design for what? So is it a new product? Is it an existing product? Should I improve the product? Should I beat the competitor? Should I reduce the cost? Should I make it sophisticated? Is that what way it will be better? That today I have a product. How can I make the product better? That's also challenging. So these are the, I think, a lot of viewpoints expressed. Very interesting. So skill gap exists. If you look at futuristic, we are to learn a lot. We are nowhere. So whether it's a smart mechatronics, whether it's a powertrain technologies, whether it's a sensing technology, data fusion technology, control, a lot of things is required to learn. We have learned engine technologies, transmission technologies to a certain extent. India has mastered, but these technologies has to be taken, has to be shifted, have to reskill, have to take leadership in the futuristic and current technologies. So I suggest
actually we should concentrate not only on overall technologies, but we should also, I think, in the given scenario all across the globe, there is a localization has become important. So component development is going to be very critical. Okay, yes. So exact technology, like not overall battery technology, but exact the battery, the cell as a component has to be developed within the respective countries. So those kind of things will have, and curriculum also, I think our syllabus very less coverage on the component industries and basically how a component is produced. So I always thought, like, if there are some students who are listening can contact me. I have some way of, relooking into this. I'm interested in hearing from some students who are interested in working with so we can do some exercise to enhance their knowledge and see if we can publish something. So actually that industry is very critical. And so along with technology, components need to be, right now India, for example, is doing a lot on the IP part, integration part. But when it comes to the basic root components, we are far away. So this need to be looked at.
Yeah.
And
yeah, thanks, Mr. Neil. I think good point. So somebody can take advantage of it. He has given a very good opportunity to encourage youngsters. So please contact him. Mr. Sahir, we have only short time, but we'll listen from him what challenges and what can be there. So this can be question answer session. We can start. Yeah. Let me see the chat first, and then we'll come to you. Is it okay? So okay. First question: any skill gap in the sector to be addressed? Yes, this is what we are discussing. There's a technology is required right from mechatronics, how the mechanical and electronics can be integrated to produce. New sensing technologies like radar, lidar, camera, image processing, data fusion. This is a gap is there. So artificial intelligence, how to identify an object and label it. So there's a huge technology. So the technologies required to enable autonomous vehicle will be important. It's not that we make autonomous vehicle, but those technologies can be deployed to bring new features. So, like
can I add one point?
Yeah.
I strongly suggest youngsters not to look at what is having opportunity and select a subject because of that. Instead, they should look at what is there resonating within them. select that and increase your knowledge and depth and width of knowledge in that area, and you will automatically be needed in the industry, in the world somewhere. Don't worry about that.
Okay, that's a passion. What you say, what you identify yourself, what is your interest and passion, and nurture upon it. That's a good point. Okay, so next is we have some of worst roads and highways in the world. How does our automotive design cater for these road conditions? Can suspension systems, tire design, and air pressure make rides on rough roads smoother? Yeah, good question.
Can I answer something?
Yeah, you can take. Yeah.
So there was some interview in which Mr. Anand Mahindra answered, we
Okay.
can market vehicles designed in India, designed for in India and the rest of the world, just because it has already successfully done in India. Because we have already faced the entire toughness of a vehicle design just because of it is gone to the Indian customer. So that way, in fact, whatever curse we have can be converted into blessing. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. This is addressed also to add one more point to what Mr. Neil said. So there is called a suspension control, active and passive, semi-active suspension. So there is electronic suspension. There is a camera in front of it. It can check the road profile, and based on the road profile, suspension characteristics can be modulated. So that's also another thing. So it is there already in the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. There is something. Multiple Volkswagen Golf Cart has got. So a lot of vehicle has got this feature. It will improve the ride qualities definitely. Okay, let me go to Mr. Sahir. So
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah. About suspension?
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the about suspension, right?
No. Suspension. I was just telling there are new technologies are coming in the mechatronics area. Primarily leading to chassis control systems. So one area of chassis control is suspension, where how do I modulate the suspension behavior to matching to my road profile? So
Sahir, you were asked overall, whatever based on the discussion, what are your questions and thoughts representing the youth community?
My thoughts on the youth community. Yeah, see, again, you can. So I'm a designer, right? I don't know much about engineering and stuff. So getting into the whole part of sensors and all that is knowledge to me, but I probably won't use it while I'm designing my product, right? For example, I consider it as a restriction. So say that you're supposed to have a knowledge about, okay, let's take IC cars. You're supposed to have a knowledge about where your engine lies, basic knowledge of your car before designing a car, instead of having like main knowledge and which restricts your design of the car. Like for example, say that I'm designing a new Volkswagen Golf, right? And I want to give it a new shape. What happens in that is I might be restricted because of the engine, and that way designers and engineers keep having a fight, which is what I've been told by my seniors, right? So I'm not really sure about the suspension part. I don't think I'm qualified enough to talk about it, but yeah, I think a little bit research on the technicalities of transportation in general is required.
Can I add to the point?
Yeah, please go ahead.
The industry is actually market driven. Industry moves where the money is, and if the India can afford the active suspension systems, of course, it is easy to say that we want a car where the car will not feel any undulations in the road. But suppose if somebody says instead of 13 lakhs, you need to pay 15, 16 lakhs for this feature, how many would actually go forward and buy it? So okay, it's about affordability. So I feel though we have this technology available, so I think that being mass marketed is a big problem, because there would be only few who would actually afford it. So it's not that we don't have the technology. We definitely have the technology, and trying to bring it to our Indian vehicles would be definitely a challenge, because I think people cannot have various variants, and that's an automobile. The packaging would be definitely a problem. trying to have new functionalities. But if it is like ABS, ESP, and hill hold assist and all that, which are actually the assisting functions to the ABS. Like I think with ABS we can have some extra functions which can actually make the ABS to work as a like hill hold. So like that, such features could be easily built up in the automobiles, but trying to have chassis control system where you allow, where the car will not actually feel any undulations in the road. So that would be a difficult task, actually.
Yeah, right point. So we can improve upon the existing features, existing thing, add upon it so that we can be able to make a ride is more comfortable. Good point. Okay. Any other questions, Nikita? Hello?
Shubhankar, are we done with the questions?
I have asked one question. Ashok sir, please check.
Okay, sure.
So we have another 9 more minutes. So if you have anything more to share, you can go ahead.
Okay. One more is there? I think one more question. Notionally, have designers ever made women-specific cars? Again, nationally, what design features would undergo change in driving terms? It's a good question. Yeah. Can I ask, request Mr. Arjun to answer this? Should I repeat the question?
Yeah, I think there was no specific women-driven cars as such, but of course, every car is tested with women mannequin, which is they call it 95% women mannequin, which is also so basically the car is designed in such a way that it will be fit for both men and women, or even the child seat and so on. So there is nothing like a a car built for women as such, but I don't have a better idea about that, but perhaps a pink car will do. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe there is a left-hand driving, right-hand driving like that, but there are no cars. But
no, actually there is
yeah.
like women driving is not the right way to tell, but actually people who prefer simple and very purpose-oriented drive. For example, if you look at gearless cars are very much liked by women, and who basically look at purpose rather than racing and showing off. So it is a big win if you do a survey, or already auto companies have done, especially in countries like India. When simple purpose-oriented things come, there is a likeness by certain type of customers. It is not right to tell it's women, but there are people. I know electric cars are some, like if you take the Mahindra Reva's experience, my own experience about 9 years, there are 2-3 types of customers. One is pure innovators who wanted to do first time try. Second is people who are basically looking for helping eco reason. Third is and they are using the car even after it is 9 years, 10 years, the old car. They are the people purely looking at the convenience that car is offering. You don't need to go to the petrol pump. You can just charge it, you can drive it, and it's very comfortable. There is no gear, very silent.
Okay. I think
that part probably has
sure.
we can hear.
Okay. Now let me hello. Let me share one small point what Mr. Neil has added. Actually, when I was in Tata Motors, we used to, whenever we introduced, when Tata was introducing new cars, so they used to call all the female employees and drive and give her feedback. So how to make this vehicle comfortable for both kinds of drivers? That is a thrust. There is nothing specific female drivers or men. Whoever comes, it has to be more comfortable. As I said, gearless. It's a real thing because you don't like to press the clutch, and this lot of effort is required. Wherever effort is required, The idea is how to reduce the effort, how to bring comfort features so that lady drivers will be more comfortable in driving. That's I think answer to Sahar point. One more question. Let me take this another question. Okay, the EV is going to be the future in transportation. What are the career opportunities that youth should look for, as the battery alone is an area booming in this space? So let me read the question. The EV is going to be the future in transportation, no doubt about it. What are the career opportunities that youth should look for, as the battery alone is an area becoming in this space? So his question is that only battery, or there are multiple areas one can look at in the EV segment to grow? Anybody would like to answer, panelist, Ms. Nandakumar? Anything?
Sir, I think the question is rightly asked. So battery management system and the handling the battery pack itself is a big thing, because battery costs around 40% of the cost of the vehicle. And there is always an issue with the life of the batteries. And if it is not maintained, then you may have to replace the battery early, which may be not liked by the people. So, but the issue is that working with the chemistry of the battery is difficult, but definitely you can work with the battery management system. Suppose if you're from the computer science background, instrumentation, telecommunication, I mean, people can definitely get into this field of battery management system, where they control the temperature, where they actually study the state of charge, where because this has been the biggest issue. Because any person riding an electric vehicle, the problem is that the person doesn't know whether he can reach the home, which is actually 5 kilometers away or 10 kilometers away. Suppose if it can clearly show how many kilometers it can travel before the battery goes dry. So that is very, I think that is the biggest challenge. So that is a nice area. But what I feel is, if anybody wants to get into EV, instead of actually trying to study a lot of things, students should start making a simple EVs like an electric bicycle that will actually summarize what they have learned, like trying to choose a motor, trying to fit a motor, trying to control a motor through a battery pack, the selection of the battery pack, the battery pack power, capacity, and the ampere rating. All this, people will start to understand and they will start to feel it, rather than trying to study a lot of things and maybe at some point they will not be able to apply it. I feel maybe around 5,000, 10,000 rupees, if 4 students can join and start an electric bicycle, that would be a good start. That would actually sum up what they have learned. And
okay.
Yeah, but actually, see, that question has one error again, is that battery technology is not going to be the ultimate power source. I believe that in another 5 to 10 years, we will see fuel cells and hydrogen powering the vehicles. So basically, the electric powertrain will sustain, but batteries probably will go, because batteries are highly depending on, in today's best technology, lithium. Bolivia and China, they are the only 2 countries who has deposit. So we will ultimately form another Gulf kind of situation in the battery technology. So I believe battery technologies will sustain for 5 to 10 years. And after that, by that time, hydrogen will be the one of the main storage method, and converting hydrogen into electric drive will be fuel cell. So
what Mr. Neil, there are multiple OEMs already. They have introduced even hydrogen vehicle. It's a production. All are there. We are not sure which technology will sustain which. There is an element of confusion. There's a hybrid vehicles are there, electric vehicles are there, conventional vehicles are there, fuel cell vehicle. All the 4 types of different vehicles are operated in the world. Either production.
Maybe I think Arjun was going to tell something.
But we are not sure where. Please repeat. I didn't get it. Yeah.
Arjun was going to tell something.
Okay. Mr. Arjun, please provide your views.
No, I agree with Mr. Neil. As he said, the hydrogen fuel technology is also trying to take a main leap of faith in the coming years in the countries like Norway and all. So there is a lot of R&D which is going on the hydrogen fuel technology as well from Volkswagen as well. So yes, hydrogen fuel could be an alternative, but nobody knows, as you know. So let us see, and fingers crossed for the future. That's what we can do. Yeah.
No, it's a good point. There's already a number of vehicles are on the road based on fuel cell vehicle also. So many vehicles are running regularly also in multiple countries also. But we are not sure which one will sustain. Battery technology is undergoing a lot of research. New materials is coming. So that is also another important factor. And also IC engines, there is a research. Hydrogen, this thing is. So there is a lot of research, innovations, new technologies are implemented in all the sectors. So but his question is, in addition to battery, any other technologies in EV? So I would like to tell motor technology is very complex. See, because we have multiple variants of motors, DC motor, AC motors, brushless DC motor. There are more than 10 to 15 types of motors. Each one will operate with different voltage, different power. So understanding electrical power distribution, power management, safety issues, wiring design, and also the
I
control
think
is important.
as time is running out, I think as Dr. Nandakumar told, in this given COVID lockdown time, had I been a student in my 18, 20, 22, I would have made a bicycle and tried out something and made my own learning within this time.
Yeah, fantastic. Yes, yes. Good idea. He can make his own bicycle and learn a lot of things. Yeah.
One more point, sir. So apart from the battery, so people also should look at mass transportation. How do we electrify mass transportation? Like we have separate bus lines in Bangalore in the outer ring road. And when you have got a separate bus line and the bus stops for every 1 kilometer, and so people can think of how can we use supercapacitors to charge instantaneously, like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and maybe with that the size of the battery could be definitely reduced, and also the cost of the batteries could be definitely reduced. For maybe for a bus which actually costs around 1 crore, maybe the cost of the battery itself may be like around 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs. Suppose the size of the battery could be reduced by maybe with a supercapacitor, we can actually increase the range of the vehicle because it could be charged for every 4 seconds or 5 seconds in a stop. So maybe people should be actually trying to also think, how do we electrify mass transportation like the buses here? And that would be a very good option because people, I think the youngsters should come up with these ideas. So the government would definitely feel like implementing it. And it would be easier for the youngsters to take it to the government, and finally it should happen because you are the future and you should be able to do it.
No, one point I want to add what you said. Electrification. See, there is a already pantographed electrical transport infrastructure is there in Germany. In one place they are operating. Similar to the electric vehicle, there is a pantograph. They can run. So there is no battery at all. So you can run. So there are such transportation systems are being evolved.
I would like to add on to that. There's already a technology that's being researched upon. Like what Dr. Nandakumar said, is there's a cupboard where you can just exchange your battery. So you don't really have to charge up your car. You can put your battery in there, and you can take another battery that's already charged. And
that's called a battery swapping. The technology battery swapping. It is done from the Bangalore firm, Sun Mobility. Sun Mobility. They are the pioneer. They have already captured the market in Ahmedabad and Delhi and many areas. So only thing, your vehicle has to be designed like that. So it's a lot of advanced technology. You have to estimate what is energy left, how to replace a lot of things. But they have done a lot of work, Sun Mobility, and it's how do you do the battery swapping? That's also right. Yeah. These are all technologies which requires tremendous amount of new skills in the data management, information management, and also the how to estimate charge, how to do it. So control, powertrain control, power electronics also will play a major role in the electric vehicle. Yeah. Nikita, anything you want to share?
So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. But before I call off Sahir, I have a question for you.
Yep.
You're a student, and due to the current pandemic situation, what are the difficulties that you face?
The difficulties that I face is one, online classes. You, as a design student, you need a lot of interaction with your fellow classmates. Right? But that's not there. We have to do Google Meets calls, and we have to talk. So work periods go on till like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night, just sitting down and working on your projects, and you get very little sleep. But I think even if you're in the college, the work timing would reduce a bit, but I think we're less efficient at home. We don't have enough materials. It's dangerous to go outside and get materials. Like recently, I had to build a piece of furniture for product design, and I had to go out all the way to CKP, that's really far away from my place, to get a foam board, which is really risking my life and my family at home. Right? So I think the efficiency has reduced a lot because of this entire pandemic situation.
Great. So thank you so much. Thank you for all the wonderful insights that were shared through this session with the youth. Thank you, Ashoka sir, and thank you all the panelists.